All right, so we've gone through the basic principles of blocking out poses, all right? And what you're looking at now is a time lapse of me doing the additional 12 poses for this sequence, okay? So, but it's all using the exact same principles as what I've shown you here. You start with the hip, and then you move through the body, and you put him into the position that he needs to be. You create the pose control, and then you also set a key on that particular frame. So I've reduced this to a time lapse just for brevity in this module. Now, what I want to move into is how to do hand poses and the power of the pose controls. Creating hand poses, in addition to body poses, is something I do all the time. And usually I go through my blocking, right? And I put my hands into general positions, and then I use those to be my first round of hand poses. So in this particular case, I'm going to go to the left hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select all the fingers, not the hand or the back of the hand, but just the fingers. And then I'm going to set a pose, and I'll call this left hand curls 1. All right, now I'm going to go and I'm going to search my keyframes here for where the left hand is at a neutral, right? And once again, make sure that I have all my fingers selected, and then I'm going to set this up as left hand neutral 1. Now, I often do many different curls, and I do many different neutrals. But here's the real power. Once you have that set up, and then you want to make the right hand do what the left hand is doing, you simply click this button right here, which switches hands. You make sure that you have the same digits selected, and then you just turn on the mirror button, and then you can jump between neutral left and neutral right, back and forth. It's so easy. Or we can do a curl. Poses also work for the full body, and that's why I make full body poses as we go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to full body mode, and I'm going to go ahead and select the right foot, meaning that I want the mirror to happen off of the right foot. And then I'm going to select mirror and then select a pose, and boom. It goes right back over. It's that easy. And this is really important as you go along with your production. For instance, if the director changes his mind about which way the character should be facing, if you have a pose set up, you can bring it over and mirror it over in a second. Very powerful. All right, so next, let's talk about prop rigging. In the course of Gigadisc, Ronnie throws a disc, and he uses his pistol, and he's going to grab some other objects that need to be held into his hand. All right? So there's a number of ways to accomplish this, but this is the method that I use that I think is the easiest. You can do constraints, and there are reasons why you might want to do constraints. But what I do is I simply make a duplicate of, in this case, the pistol, which is going to be attached to his hip. And then I've set up a bone here in his hand, okay? So with the duplicate, I'm going to position the pistol to be parented to the hand. And then all I need to do is turn visibility on or off in any particular frame, which makes switching between the two very easy. Let me demonstrate. First, I'll duplicate the weapon, and then I'll hide the previous weapon, and then I'll move the duplicated weapon into position in the hand. And what I'm looking for here is to follow the forearm as far as position, and then tuck the grip into the pocket of the hand, okay? And I also try to line up the trigger finger here as well, assuming that you have a neutral pose, which I do on this right hand. Sometimes this takes a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of experience to know exactly where the pistol grip should be within the area. And that's also based on the different hand poses that you're going to do. But basically, you follow the forearm and the wrist. That's what's going to aim. The last step is to parent the duplicate weapon to the hand control so that it follows the motion of the hand. Then all I have to do is move the hand normally and key the visibility of either the holster or the hand weapon. It's that easy. All right, so now that we've set up all the poses and we've done the hands and we've done the prop rigging, the last thing that we need to do is prepare a reference file for use with the motion capture and the hybrid animation that we're going to be doing in the next module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back over to Maya, and then I'm going to select my entire character, and you'll see it has all its keyframes here. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the graph editor, and I'm going to delete everything but frame 0, which is the T-pose, and frame 1, which is the pose that I want to use for 014. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up a stand-in for the environment file. Okay, so this has a low resolution version of the hovercraft and a low resolution version of the actual environment, but everything is to scale. So I just want to make sure that my reference file, when it comes in, fits everything within the environment that we're going to actually use. It's just a last minute check that I like to do during the preparation process so I know that everything's going to work right when it gets handed off to the animator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down my reference editor and add that file, that Maya file that I just saved with the one keyframe on 014 and the T-pose on 0 as a reference file. And when it comes in, I'm going to actually have to move its position from the ground to the deck of the hovercraft just to make sure that everything's working okay. And now when he's in the scene, you can see he fits perfectly. His scale is correct. His position on the hovercraft is correct. And everything seems to be working fine and is ready for animation. And really, that's the point of doing pre-production. You're answering all the questions that are going to come up later regarding scale, regarding what he should look like, regarding matching the storyboard and that particular part of the script. You're bringing it all together during this blocking phase or the pre-production phase and getting ready to go into animation. If you take the time to go through all these steps, you're going to be very grateful as you go along in your production because those questions will be already answered, all right? And so you can focus on just doing the animation. All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up for Module 2. I'll see you in Module 3, where we really start to use the actual hybrid animation techniques between motion capture and keyframe animation. Thanks for watching.